Hi guys, welcome to what is not only a new series, but in fact a new channel, so you are probably the first person watching this, because who else will? Yeah, the series is called Geoguessr to Glory, because I'm uncreative. So the basic premise of the series is just, I've got this new wonderful Geoguessr account, and I'm just going to try and get as good as possible really. And if you want to watch along, you can see how I go. I'd appreciate that, but you know, free world, do what you want. We will do competitive later, but to start, we're gonna try and get all the bronze medals in Africa. Eventually we'll get all the bronze medals everywhere, then try to get the silver medals and some gold. And Botswana's first on the list, so Botswana's first. So I won't bore you with all of the countries in Africa, of course, but here's a little montage of me going around Botswana, trying to get the bronze medal, which is like a very low threshold. You don't need many points. But you know, it's a good starting point. And in fact, as you will see, we have now got the bronze medal for Botswana. That didn't take long. And so, now on to the next one, which will be, in fact, Eswatini. This shouldn't take too long, hopefully. It's got a higher average score as well. And montage, montage, montage. And hopefully I get this on the first go. I suppose we're about to find out. Yep, there it is. That is the last montage that I will do unless it's particularly interesting, I promise you. So next is Ghana, and hopefully I will remember just to cut straight to me getting bronze there. Very good. Now the next one is in fact Kenya, and here is a quick montage of me looking absolutely everywhere for Geoguessr, because I was just convinced that that was a place I'd seen, and in fact in there I find out in the end that it wasn't, and then in the very next round I spawn right next to another Safaricom Geoguessr shop, which was just a slap in the face a bit, but oh well. We get Kenya, and we get Lesotho, and then in Madagascar, I just thought I'd showcase some of the interesting scenes that appeared, such as this man following my every move. And then, is this a boat? Are they sat in anything? But we got Madagascar, and then Nigeria. I would just walk you through the next one, which is in fact Rwanda, which I didn't know was in the game, to be honest. So yeah, we load in. I mean, I don't have much clue what's best to pick here, really. So as you can see, what I do is kind of scan around, looking for like sort of hilly areas, zooming into signs as if that's going to help me then get bored and pick Kigali. And in fact, it is Kigali. And then it's a built-up area, so I waste absolutely no time and pick Kigali. And it's Kigali, 2.5 miles, pretty nice. And this next one looks a bit trickier, there's some nice housing, there's urban stuff in the distance, so yeah, I picked Kigali and it's Kigali. And here we go again, kind of busy main road, best bet it's Kigali, and look, it's Kigali. And one more time, looks a bit more rural, but hell, I don't know what to do. If it's not Kigali, if I pick Kigali, and it's Kigali, genius. And that is our first gold medal, which is slightly ridiculous from just pressing Kigali. But hey, I take what I can get, and gold medal's gold medal. So then moving on to Singapore, bronze in Singapore, bronze in Tunisia, bronze in South Africa, and bronze in Uganda. And that, as you can see, means we are done in Africa in terms of Explorer mode, getting bronze anyway. And I promise this video is just not infinite boredom of just me skipping through getting bronze on Explorer mode, so we're going to go on to just a few games of streaks so you can kind of see whether or not I am good, and the answer is no, and the level of how bad I am. This one's a really good start, and you can see how terribly I messed it up, and I'm kind of put off by the fact it says Centrum, and I'm like, that's similar to German, and it says Stockmann, and I'm like, oh brilliant, it's German, which of course it isn't. So I think it's got to be close for German, but it isn't. And then, having been confused for a bit, as you will see, zooming into signs and somehow not recognizing the language and the very distinct yellow signs, I just look at it, get bemused, and eventually I will make a guess. Very, very slowly it would appear to be Switzerland. I thought it might be Romance, but of course it is obviously Finland. So not a great start, but we go again. And pretty quickly in this one, I think I do find a sign that says Curaçao. So I'm like, oh, easy, Brazil. And that's a good start. In fact, it only gets better because in this one I spawn right next to a web address, and it's Kyrgyzstan. I do love a Kyrgyzstan guess. Don't know if anyone else shares that sentiment. And then for this one, it's obviously Scandinavian and very, very flat, so don't take much time to say Denmark. And I promise you, when I zoomed in and saw that it was Bornholm, I was over the moon. I love a Bornholm guess. Bornholm's just superior. But then unfortunately, it kind of ended here, because I was looking around, looking at crates and pretty developed road, and I want to look at the sign, and it's blurred, and it says Brighton, and because that's a place in England, so it's probably somewhere that we've colonised. Um, and I look at those hills back behind me now because I can't sink myself out. So I then foolishly decide, having looked at the hills and everything, that it's South Africa. But no, it is Australia. But it was Tasmania, which is a slightly harder guess. Then I accidentally click on Google Maps, which is easily done, I suppose. And next round. Now, for any fellow British boys, I did not have to move to know that this was just, proper urban England. And in fact, just the other day, I took a train that went just where I'm moving my cursor right now. So, I was there recently. Then this one is pretty European off the bat, just by the architecture. And then I spot this sign, and that is very Polish. So I don't waste time in making that guess. And then this is Scandinavia. And for your convenience, I sped my deliberation up because I did not know whether it was Norway or Sweden for quite a while. But then, having looked at the trees up there, I decided they're more typical of Norway, and that was correct. And then this one, for a while, this one looked a little bit more tricky, as it was a bit warehousey. But then I see the back of that truck and the Canadian flags on it, so not too challenging. And then we load in here, and it's probably European, especially with like the crossing there. Then I zoom into the sign, and it's all German, and the architecture is just giving me more Austrian vibes. But those crossings there should have given me Swiss vibes. But oh well, hindsight. It's pretty close to the German border. But that's my best streak so far of 4. So I hope that was an insight into how bad at this game I am. But now we're going to get on to some competitive stuff, because that's more fun, starting with a game of distance. And my score is literally 0. So, in with all the bronze people. And so round 1 was a pretty easy Bangkok guess, unless you're literally anyone else in that lobby. And then round 2 was pretty easy, Skopje, Macedonia, unless again you're anybody else. And then round 3 was Colombia, but not Bogota, as me and one other person kind of assumed. And then round 4 was Taiwan, and through into the last 4 maybe. And then round 5 everyone thought was Nigeria, and it did look like Nigeria, but it wasn't. It was in fact Ghana. And then my best guess was North Italy, but it was North Montenegro, which wasn't great for me. But into the final 2. and it was better than that guy who thought it was central Germany. So, final round. This was a decisive moment. I was in the lead last 10 seconds. He got a much better guess than me. I wasn't really sure until I saw that Arabic and decided Jordan, and by 7.9 miles it was. I was closer. But it's his fault for thinking that it was in the West Bank where I was never going to. So, with I've been put straight into the silver division. I want to keep it going with a round of countries, which I do prefer to distance personally, but you know, both fun. Um, this is immediately the Faroe Islands. I mean, those hills you will just not see anywhere else. And as you will see after I zoom into the Scottish Isles, I am the only one to get that immediately. People had gone for Iceland and Norway, as you would expect that they would. Next round, Lesotho was correct. I'd made a couple of guesses already though. Eswatini, probably should have known. And I zoomed to this sign and realised it says Lesotho, which was a pretty big giveaway. And then next round, Finland, doing quite well, into the top 6, I believe. Then, unfortunately, here is the end of the next round where no one had got it until someone did in the last 5 seconds. It was, in fact, Andorra, which I was just not going to get because, you know, it's Andorra. Not even the right ballpark, really. I was more Central Europe. But then I decided to do some jewels because they're always fun. Now, this guy's roughly the same kind of rating as me, and for this one, I'm immediately thinking with the palm trees and dirt card that it's going to be some sort of Borneo or Indonesia, Malaysia guess in general. And he guesses really quickly, which kind of stressed me out because I then thought it might be Africa and I'd just lose lots of points. But he thought it was Bangladesh, so I was a lot closer on that one. Next round, again, wasn't too bad, I think. So, seeing red roofs and kind of looked Icelandic, and my suspicions were confirmed by the sign on the side of that building. And his genius guess was, in fact, as you will see in just a second, Sydney. So I got a pretty big advantage there. Then from there, it didn't take too long to finish him off. This one, I thought probably Sweden, and I think that is what I went for. But it was Finland, but he guessed Romania, so you know, that was the end of him. So I decided to try and keep up the streak, and this guy has got 130 more rating than me, but he's probably kind of close to where I was on my regular account. So this is Ireland, which didn't take too long, but I have to speed up me just looking around trying to find clues as to where in Ireland. And then eventually, plot twist, um, wait for it. It was in fact Birmingham, and he was closer, and I was really sure it was Ireland, which is kind of embarrassing. Then after me looking for quite a while for any sort of sign or anything, I decide that it is Finland. Uh, as he pressured me into guessing, and he also said Finland, but again, he's just the tiniest bit closer. The most annoying bit. There in round 3, having looked around for a while, it's definitely South America, and I'm thinking Ecuador for quite a bit, and I start staring at this sign because I was sure it was going to give me a clue, and it didn't. And then I choose Colombia, which was the correct choice, but once more, he's the tiniest bit closer, which is annoying, and he takes another just 100 points off. Then round 4, and the first thing you see when you turn around is the big Ukrainian flag on a van. I'm getting closer. I do see UA in the domain, even though it's not at the end. And so it is definitely Ukraine, and I quickly search for things to tell me where, but I just guess Kiev as my best bet, and he's a little bit closer again. and it's getting on my nerves. Then on the healing round, I've been doing grinding Africa just earlier the video, so I know this is Botswana, and the health I get from that takes me all the way back up to full, so it's a level playing field again. Then 1.5 times damage, and it's pretty easy to decipher that it's Dutch, but what he doesn't see is that it says Amsterdam in it, so when I make my guess, I am a little bit closer than him. The 2x damage doesn't go quite as to plan, as I see that it's definitely mountainous, South America. I don't think it's Peru, but I don't know what else to say, so I say it's there, and he knew it was Chile somehow, and that's enough to end my game, which was unfortunate, but I do not want to end the video on that note, so I go again. Spoiler for this one, the guy just wasn't there, and I found it was Vienna pretty quickly, and found this was Thailand, and I'm not counting that because, you know, it's not an actual battle, and neither was this one, because this person also wasn't present, as you can see there, by my flawless express victory. Then this person, the next person to appear, actually was real, which was wonderful. Then this round, as you can see, was not going to be an easy round. I mean, it's just desolate. However, this is where I pull out one of the best guesses I've ever made. I was very educated because I spent quite like a amount of time studying Kyrgyzstan, and that's what it was on my normal account, just because I thought it'd be funny to master Kyrgyzstan, and that's the one I was after. That's the real good ending that I was very satisfied with, and I thought this might be an enclave of South Africa, but in the end I just pressed East South Africa and he thought it was India, so you know, that was a nice way to end off the video with a flawless victory and all. Yeah, so I got my rookie hiker title and level 10, very important. So that is in fact the end of the video. I know it wasn't the most enthralling thing, but you know, it's my first one, and I'd really appreciate any of the cliches that YouTubers tell you to do, as like possibly the smallest kind of YouTuber you can be. So yeah, any support much appreciated, and I'll try to keep the series going if it gains any kind of traction, and thank you for watching if you bothered to. Yeah, let me know if you enjoyed whatsoever, and you can make fun of me being bad at the game and calling Senegal Singapore in the comments. Alright, thank you. I will see you in the next video, if anyone wants to.